Thank you, Dr. Mahoney. Thank you, everyone. I brought my water in case I have a Marco Rubio moment here. What an honor, what an incredible honor to be here today. I am surely the unlikeliest person to be out here right now. Non-traditional doesn't begin to cover it. Obviously, I wasn't born in North Carolina, and clearly, I don't fit one other notable demographic of most of my classmates. I do promise not to cover my remarks with predictable cliches, but in my case, I really did take the road less traveled, and that's why it took me 30 years longer to get here than most of you. Along the way, some of the highlights of my career have been hosting a talk show and fronting a 10-day, 10-city rock and roll tour. But the low point was definitely the aftermath of the Great Recession of 2008. As you know, that was a really bad time for millions of Americans, and Asheville, where I'd been living for over a decade, was hit especially hard. I was laid off, along with the majority of the staff from the engineering firm where I had worked for a number of years. The managing partner then came to my home and drove away with the car he had offered to help me purchase a couple of years before. So there I was, the single mother of a 14-year-old with no job, no car, and no idea what to do next. Well, you know, there are a few good jobs in Asheville in the best of times, and those definitely were not good times. So for the next 2 years, I tried everything I could think of to support our family, right? I started a couple of businesses, I sent out hundreds of resumes, I networked like crazy, and applied for countless jobs. But all the doors were closed. We were fortunate during that time that effective public policies did provide us with crucial safety nets that have recently been drastically cut in this state. But after prolonged attempts to stay afloat, my unemployment benefits and savings were depleted, and we lost our home to foreclosure on the 4th of July, 2010. The hardest part was when my then 16-year-old son went to live with his father in Orlando. I'm sure you can appreciate that all of these circumstances were challenging, to say the least. So, why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling my story for two reasons. One is because we are political science majors, and many of you will play a major role in the work of advocacy and shaping public policies. You know, some people actually believe that poor people are lazy and just milking the system. Go get a job, they say, even when there are no good jobs to be had. And the work that many poor people do have doesn't pay enough to meet their basic needs. I have tremendous respect for the parents I met at food pantries who, dressed in their work uniforms, waited in line for hours to get diapers and cereal for their kids. They had to juggle their schedules, find transportation to agencies all over town, but were determined to care for their families. I am here to tell you that being poor is very hard work, very time-consuming, and very expensive. And our public policies are not doing enough to help families like mine and many others stay together and rebuild our lives. I hope you will be part of changing that. I hope you remember that behind every data point and every statistic is a person with a story that may be much different than you think. A person who has hopes and dreams and capabilities for a better life and a better future. Most of all, I hope you will remember to be kind. I hope you'll support and encourage those who are going through a rough patch, because where they are when you meet them is not the end of their story, and you can help them write an amazing new chapter. The other reason I told this story is because it has taken me 30 years longer than most of you to get here, and you know, I've learned some things along the way, and I hope some of this might help you someday. So here's what I've learned. We all stumble. We all fall down. We all encounter situations for which we feel entirely unprepared. And in those moments, we are given the choice to dwell in the darkness or to move toward the light, to focus on the very real negatives, or to entrust ourselves to the very real possibilities that are ready to unfold. One of my favorite poets once said, "Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark." The more we look to the light, the more we focus on the positives, the more we choose to believe that all will be well, the easier it becomes. Science has an explanation for this. It's called neuroplasticity. You're familiar with this, a lot of you. The principle is simple. Our brains have synapses, and whenever we have a thought, one synapse shoots a chemical to another synapse, and this builds a bridge for an electrical signal to cross while it carries our thoughts. Now, here's the marvelous part. Every time this electrical charge is triggered, the synapses actually grow closer together. Our brain is physically changing itself to make it easier for that thought to connect. This scientific discovery demonstrates that we can actually change how we perceive reality, which means we have the power to change our response. Well, it took practice for me to change my response to my new circumstances, but over time, it got easier to live with gratitude in the present instead of dwelling in the past. And that is when the doors began to open. So how did I get from there to here? Well, the primary obstacle to my actual job search had been my lack of a college degree. I had gone to a business college, a Bible college, and a state college, but marriage and exciting job offers kept pulling me out, and I really hadn't needed a degree until this brave new world when you had to click on that drop-down box before you could even make it into the pool of applicants. My two sons kept encouraging me to go to college, but I was afraid that I wouldn't be successful, that my memory wasn't good enough, and I let those fears hold me back for too long. But finally, in January 2011, I enrolled at AB Tech Community College and graduated in May 2013 with a 3.9 GPA and an Associate of Arts degree. That same month, I was honored to be named Student of the Year. I wouldn't have even thought, actually, of attending NC State. It hadn't crossed my radar. Had it not been for my dean, my beloved dean, Dr. Weiner. He knew I was interested in politics and sagely pointed out that Raleigh is, in fact, where the politicians are. Well, you know, they say choose a major you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? What they don't say is it's probably because that field isn't hiring, but by then, I'd had a lot of practice at being hopeful. So I applied, and a very generous scholarship package convinced me to transfer to NC State in the fall of 2013, where I have thrived ever since as a political science major and nonprofit studies minor. Today, I'm proud to say, I'm graduating, excuse me. Thank you for applauding so I can mark a Rubio here. I'm proud to say I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree and a 3.97 major GPA. Believe me, this leg of the journey hasn't been without its own challenges. As a non-traditional student on a campus full of classmates my son's ages, it took some time to find my place and my people. I'm especially grateful to our department's own Shannon Carey, who's sitting out there, and I wish she were in here, because she has consistently been a great source of encouragement and advice for me. A more traditional challenge y'all can relate to is money. I found myself resorting to the fundraising calls and emails that many of you parents are familiar with, and I am deeply grateful to the friends and family who believed in me and helped me make it through the summer or the end of a semester from time to time. Through it all, despite the challenges, I have proven that I have the courage, intelligence, determination, and resilience to overcome adversity and succeed beyond my highest hopes and expectations. Other than being a mother, this most recent adventure in formal education has been the best experience of my life. Why did I wait so long to do this? I've made wonderful friends. I've been taught by world-class professors. I've participated in fascinating programs and activities. I've had incredibly valuable internships. I've been guided by treasured mentors and advisors, and I've learned more than I ever thought possible. I may be the unlikeliest person to be up here, but I certainly feel like the luckiest. I couldn't be prouder to be a member of the Wolf Pack. Today, we graduates are standing at what is perhaps the most iconic intersect of our past, present, and future. In this moment, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and look ahead to a world of possibilities. In keeping with my own very non-traditional journey, I'm thrilled that my remarkable 80-year-old parents and 21-year-old son have traveled all the way from Orlando just to be here with us today. They had to wait many years, but it means everything that they finally get to help me celebrate my long-delayed college graduation. In closing, I'd like to share what a wise man once said. It is never too late to be whomever you want to be. There's no time limit. You can make the best or the worst of it. I hope you make the best of it. I hope you live a life you're proud of. And if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start all over again. Let's get to it. Thank you.